We are live. We are live on YouTube. Hey, I tell you what, our subscribers are going up, Gary.
Are they?
Going up. I think we've had another 200 join in the last 2 or 3 days.
Wow, 200, not just two people.
No, 200. Now, they're subscribing to the whole channel, maybe not to us, Gary. But we're just bringing a little bit of light relief on a Friday afternoon. But that's what I love about our channel here at Crafty Monkeys, Gary. We've got proper sewing. We've got, in terms of like proper quilters doing proper blocks. We've got projects. We've got dressmaking things, and then we've got interviews and live chats, and then we've got Being New every Friday. Yeah. So here we go with our tea time tutor.
I can't believe you got a cup of tea. You've remembered your cup of tea. So yes. Nice strong cup of tea for me. I need a nice strong tea. I need a tea. I've been working so hard that I think nice big strong cup of tea, and that would be just sit down and meet you
and have a little play. We love it, don't we, Gary? We love it. Well, I hope you, lovely YouTuber, enjoy our tea time tutorials. Please have a look through our playlist, because we've got quite a few on there now, Gary. We've done some sewing, we've done some art, we've done some sort of mindful stuff. We always start with some mindful stuff anyway, which we'll do in a second. But we always do a crafty thing, and it's our little playtime on a Friday afternoon, isn't it? And we hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you can sit down, gather some materials, and just have a play for 20 minutes. And I always say to Gary at the end of it that I always feel more relaxed at the end of the YouTube. Sometimes it's a race trying to get all of it ready in time to go live. But as soon as I do it, I relax, and then I sit down. If I haven't got a headache, I'll have a glass of wine afterwards. And it just is a lovely thing to play with. So I do hope, lovely YouTuber, that you will have a look through the playlist and have a play for yourself, to keep this thing nice and relaxed and de-stressed, even if it's just for 20 minutes, because my goodness me, life is hard. So it's nice to just step outside of it for 20 minutes. So please do like our videos as well, because it means that then we get in the algorithm, and then other people will see our videos, and hopefully they'll have some nice times as well. So let's spread the joy. So do like us and subscribe to us and hit the bell, because then you'll know if we're going to go live. We'd love to see you in the chat as well. If you're here and you want to have a little chat with us, please do leave some comments. We'd love to hear any questions. And once again, when the videos have gone live, and if you watch this when it's not live and you do have a question for us, put the question underneath, because Gary and I will always answer any questions. We had a question about the sewing machine, and we went back in and we answered it for that lady. She was like, that's brilliant. So please do leave comments and things. But today, in this lovely little playtime, we're going to be making a mood board. I have to say, if you saw what was on the edges of this, it does not look like this. This looks beautiful. It looks like I should be doing now, well, I don't know, a tarot card reading or something, quite frankly. But it looks like it's set up beautifully for something. But the rest of the room is not like that. But I have set up my mood board area, and that's what Gary's going to be teaching me today, how to create a mood board. And we've got autumn as a theme. So we'll be doing that in a few moments' time. But as always, our lovely Gary Mills, by the way, is the teacher, a teacher here at Crafty Monkeys, but also my friend and just an all-round fantastic person and a bit of a guru, quite frankly, a bit of a guru. He tries to teach me something every week, and he said, let's do mood boards. But we always do a bit of mindfulness. I will put the time codes below. So our mindfulness only lasts 2 or 3 minutes. I give Gary a quote and we discuss it. It's just something about life that hopefully you might pick up a little line of something and go, I'm going to remember that. That's great. So lovely, Gary. Today we're talking about autumn, and where's that quote that I just got? Here we are. Wait a minute. But we always do mindfulness. Rachel, I'm talking to myself again. I'm hearing the voices in my head. Hang on, let's just go on to an advert. Here we are. Here's the quote. Now, this is a quote from someone who's unknown. It's on a country living site, and it just says quote and then unknown. But I liked it, and it spoke to me, because today on our Instagram, on Crafty Monkeys at Instagram, this lady put up a picture of, in America, the fall, which of course for us here is autumn. But I do love the word, the fall. I love it because, of course, it is about leaves falling. And I just thought about it on a more esoteric level. I thought about leaves falling, and the trees have come to the end of their lifespan. In that cycle, they're going to start again, of course, because they stand tall and then they come back in the spring and the summer. But this part of their life cycle is done for this year. So they have to shed their leaves. And I thought, what does this, there's something something about life that we can take from this. And this quote here, I think, sums it up. And it just says, autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go.
Yeah.
Discuss, Gary, because some people might go, I don't want to let things go. But sometimes we have to, and you have to learn how to let things go. What's your thought on that, my lovely?
Do you know, it's just that almost like it just sent a bit of shivers down my spine, because it's something that I have been thinking about, as in like there is that saying, and I know this is a bit silly to say, but you sort of like, there is sort of the seasons within your life. So you're young, you're a spring chicken, you have the summer of your life, and now like the autumn of your life. I'm not in the winter yet, but I'm the autumn of my life. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm so busy, and it's almost as if for me, it's, what do I don't need to be as busy. Now in the autumn of my life, I can let some things go. I don't need to be running around, you know, doing all the half the things I used to do. I can just slow down. But you know, it's very hard, because you set yourself at a momentum. And I can remember people say, my God, Gary, one day the amount of work and things that you're involved in, you're going to burn yourself out. Oh yeah. And I only thought, you know, just recently, the last couple of days, thinking, slow down. You know, we're now going into the autumn. If I carry on the pace that I do tend to go at, I could probably, you know, maybe I will burn myself out. And I think over the winter and all the things that we need to sort of like be prepared for, and we need to be our fittest and everything like that, is don't burn out through the autumn and the winter, because you'll need your strength through that winter to get to the spring. And, you know, if you just have to give a few things up, it's not going to be a problem. Or check yourself, saying, slow down, prioritize, those sort of things. So maybe that for me very much is the fall, because I am in the autumn of my life. I don't know. And I don't say that melancholy, because I like where I am in my life. I absolutely, you know, every part of my life I, you know, endured at times, but enjoyed. And so now I'm in the autumn. Now is the time to let a few things go.
Yes. Well, okay, so I agree with everything you're saying there, and I think that's good in terms of our mental state of mind, because if we are racing through and trying to get everything done, and you have to do, really, what is time? Time's just a concept. And so I think that, you know, sometimes we put pressure on ourselves to get things done, and actually it doesn't matter. As you know, I've been through a loss recently in my family, and I did start thinking, oh, I have to get to work, and someone said, no, you don't. No, you don't. Anything that you have to do can wait until next week. Maybe it's an urgent email, I can answer that on my phone, but any of the other kind of business planning and things, I didn't have to do it. A week is not going to change anything in this business. But a week mentally for me was very important to sit and reflect and sit in those feelings. But I think also as well, just to kind of bring it to a close, for me, if you look at the Buddhist teachings, they talk about letting things go, because what the Buddhists believe is that we shouldn't be attached to things. No. If we have an attachment to things, in terms of we grip on, we hold on, what if we lose them? Then that creates an unnecessary stress, but it also creates an unhealthy attachment. And if you want to read about it, you can go much deeper into the Buddha teachings. But what they say is you have to be prepared with everything to let it go. So if you love someone, love them, be joyful with them, experience with them, live in the present, but be prepared that it may go. But if you are prepared and you haven't become so attached that it's sort of ingrained in you and your life, if you know you can't live without it, then when they do go, you'll find a kind of easier inner peace to come to terms with it. I know that's difficult, like in relationship breakups or deaths and things like that, but it's like the autumn. Everything comes to an end at some point. Everything comes to an end. There is change is the only thing that happens what's that phrase about? I can't remember the phrase is about change, but change is, you know, we all hate change, but change is absolutely necessary and it happens. So I think what we have to do is just step back, not grip onto things, not be overly attached to things. Just step back, enjoy, live in the moment, but be prepared for things to go, because they will. You have to be happy in yourself. So it's like the leaves. The leaves fall, they go.
And yeah,
but they'll come back.
And I just think going back to, you have to let that leaf fall. You have to let it fall, because that is then going to allow for a new bud to form and for a new leaf to form. And so in a way, an analogy could be that you could think, well, I'm going to let these things that have had their lifetime, it could be an idea, it could be something you're working on, and you've got to let it, I've got to stop now. I've got to let that go, because a new idea will come in, or a new project, or a new person, or something like that. And I have to check myself on that as well, because we all hold on to things. And we keep plowing and plowing and plowing at the same thing. Well, maybe it's had its lifespan. Maybe the leaf has fallen from the tree, ready for a new bud to come along. And then that bud is going to turn into a brand new leaf and do a really good job, where the old leaf is really not doing its function, feeding the tree.
No, exactly. It's done. It's had its moment. It was beautiful. Now just let it go. And as you say, now it's time to plant new seeds. And everything in life rather is a lesson. So take the lesson, take the positives, let it go, move on. Ta-da! That is the mindfulness for today. There's something in there. There's something in there for someone. That spoke to me. So lovely, Gary. I should look at the timings so that I get an idea of the time code. It's 5:13. So there you go. Let me just kind of make a mental note of that, or a little note of that. So 5:13. Hang on, let me just put that in my little calendar here. 5:13. Lovely. So that is when our class will begin. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. What are you going to do today, lovely Gary?
Okay, Rachel. So I said last week, what we were going to do is we're going to create mood boards, or we could call them inspiration boards, because it's nearly the same thing. They can be known as storyboards. And we use these quite a lot when we're coming up with ideas. When you do any design type of practice, a mood board, inspiration board, storyboard is something that really gets you started on a journey of creativity. Now, I think for you and for all those creative people that tune into our channel, I think this could be a really good little practice for one, sort of focusing ideas or coming up with some new ideas, but also it's a really nice, just a creative, and again, it's a mindful practice that we can just do just for fun. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be permanent. It can literally be an assemble on a piece of paper, which we can photograph. And then we can save it as a photo. We can put it on our Instagram feeds. We can send it to other people. Or when we're out and about looking for fabric, maybe doing an interior design, anything, we can bring that picture up on our phone and thinking, now that's the concept. Because I didn't realize, someone said to me, Gary, you can just hold a color in your head. You've not got the swatch in your hand. You know that color. You go to the shop and you match it exactly. People can't do that. And really? Because when you've got those abilities, you don't realize that other people can't do them. And so I thought, well, how can I communicate that? How can people do that? So that's why we sort of come up with this idea. And it is a practice within design, because not everyone can just hold that image in their head wherever they go. They need something to refer to. So this is it. Okay. I said to you, get yourself a nice plain piece of white paper, from the photocopier, A4 piece of paper. So this is something you're going to, it's something that's going to contain your assemblage of things within this area. So it can't go, so if I've got a A4 piece of paper, it's not going to go outside of this piece of paper, it's going to stay within. And I'm going to talk to you about bringing objects closer together rather than spreading them out. I'm going to talk about, do we do it landscape? Do we do landscape? Do you do it, what you prefer, portrait? Or thinking about, just got a little frame. I've just made this very little simple frame here. Do we make it square, like so, hang on a minute, I've got to get my squares right. Square. Do we make it square and photograph it? Because then, thinking ahead, that is Instagram friendly, because it's a square and it looks good on Instagram. Whereas if we put a whole picture like an A4 piece of paper and we take a photograph like that, it tends to drop off the page and it doesn't look so good. You've got things all over it. So, but if you do a nice little crop like a square, it can look quite good for an Instagram. Anyway, so if anyone wants to make a little, make this sort of zooming in and out frame, all it is two L-shaped pieces of dark card, but you could create any color card or paper and you can create any, so you can frame things. So I use it to frame stuff like that. Can you see how that works?
Yes, it's really clever. Yeah.
So you can make that. It's just literally measure the same distance down one side of a piece of card and down the other, cut that bit out, do it on the same piece of card, and then you make yourself your little frame to do that. So we got a piece of paper. I set you the theme of autumn because we're in autumn, and it's really easy to find things to inspire and to find things that have got spiky bits, got colors, lots of colors. We've got seeds, we've got little berries. There's so much at the moment that can inspire. So we're going to start with that. And then I have gone to my scraps and I found sort of like, I'll bring them in a minute, but I found some fabric scraps as well. So let's just, for the moment, rather than overcomplicating it, let's just take the A4 sheet and then just start to think about some of the things that we've collected. So we've got some lovely leaves that have got lovely color to them. And we're not going to stick them down because what we're going to do is we're just going to assemble them, going to put them, maybe group them together. And then we're going to, we can photograph it. So we can put that across, we can put that in as well. And I can put some seeds in there as well. So I'm just sort of assembling, just making a little, it's almost like a little sort of living collage. I did also send, which I've got some little titles because it's quite nice to use some titles. And so for some focus, we could also, if we think about the focus, I've given you a sheet which has got a quilt, a little dress. Maybe you're designing or you're thinking of making yourself a ball gown, Rachel. We're really on advanced things here. Another little quilt. Or maybe an interior. Maybe it's an interior. So
I think at this point, I'm just thinking of making myself an Instagram post, to be honest.
Lovely. Okay. So is your Instagram post just going to be about, is it going to be made into anything, or is it going to just be about the season? Is it just about the season?
I think it's just about the season. I think, obviously it's going to go on the Crafty Monkeys feed, but it is going to be about the season and colour and textures.
So I found loads of things. I found this was really nice. This is like this lovely, it's dried Bombricia, and that's dried as well. And there's these lovely browns and these oranges and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assemble, or just going to sort of cluster things together for the time being. Now, the tendency is to spread everything out to fill out the whole place. But in fact, what you're going to do is you're going to just slightly move things in, because you're going to create what's called a luxury border around the outside. So imagine if you bring things in, I'm going to get my little frame from under my plate here. So if I bring things in, I can get my frame nicely round it. Like so, and I can get my nice frame and I can try and get it all within the frame. And I've got a nice, what they call a nice little border all the way around it like that. And then that makes what's in the middle really nice, important. So at the moment, it's maybe there's too much in it at the moment. So I think if you get to a point where it's, oh my God, there's too much, you need to start taking some things away, because less is more in design. So if we think, oh, we've sort of almost got a little bit too much there, maybe we need to just bring in a few things which is a little bit less about over clustering it, because the idea would be, oh, I want to put everything in. Well, you can do another board. You can create another design board or an inspiration board. You don't have to do it all in one go. So I've got some natural things there. I'm going to just cut out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a title. So I'm just going to cut a little title. And I literally.
Coco Chanel said. Coco Chanel said, put all of your accessories on and then take the last one off.
Yes.
Didn't she?
Yeah.
Because yours
absolutely. So, and I think because I've got this piece of paper, I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to have that going down sideways, down like that. So I'm going to just move those so I can just see that. I'm just going to move that so I can see that like that. So it says autumn inspiration. So I've got that coming through. So I've put some words there. I've got other words here. So I could put so you could put some words within your mood board that perhaps sort of trigger ideas or some other things. So maybe we put like pumpkin. So I've got the word pumpkin. We can put those in it. Whoops, I've just dropped that on the floor. Come back in. So I can put. Should I start doing mine now as well, Gary? If you want to, I'm just going. All I'm going to do is the next is going to find. So I've got in here. I've got a whole load of fabrics, which to me says autumn. So you only need the tiniest little, what we call swatches. So they're only the tiniest little bits, and then you can just add those in as well. Another thing you can add into these, if you go by like a DIY store and you find buy the paints, grab yourself some paint chip charts. So those little charts,
yes,
just grab some of those, and then you can then cut those out.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got the, if you're, say you're looking for color and you haven't got the color, or you haven't got the fabrics to do that, you're going to go out and look for fabrics, then just put little paint chips in. So just put those in. So there's a little sort of like little swatches of fabric, which I think I'm going to actually add down here, and I'm going to just sort of cluster them in that little bit there, and I'm going to just put. So you have a go, Rachel. I don't know what you've. Let's have a look. Let's highlight what you've put together, because I've set you this task, and I just wondered what you had brought together.
Okay, so well, I shall remove your spotlight now because you've seen your thing there. So we'll put mine in. So here we are. Well, I've got all sorts of things, very much like you. Now, interestingly, I took a picture from my Instagram, which that is a square. So I took that picture. So I think that's actually a great
starting point. Yes.
And I mean, I've actually got this one as well. So, you know, you could even, I could like, I quite like, do you know what, I might cut up the bottom corner of that, because I'm quite liking that. You know, some, I don't know.
Yes.
I quite like the
reflection.
Let me just make that smaller, because it doesn't, we only need a little tiny bit of my face, look. So you could do something like, up there, I think in that corner like that. And then I've also got some leaves. So I thought that was an interesting leaf. And that. And we've got that. So those three are really quite nice, like that. I've got a berry. Like that. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to do, Gary? Oh, I'll tell you. I had no idea what I'm going to do until this moment. So let me just, I've got some spring. And I've also got some of these. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to actually, if I can, let me see if I can just wrap those together like that. Yes. Okay. And now I think maybe another, I've got a twig here. It's a nice little twig. Maybe a longer leaf. Lovely. Something like that. And then if I laid that onto there, something like that. In fact, no, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I know what I'm going to do. Look at me, Gary. Can you look at
I love it.
I'm going to just rip this so that it's not so
sharp edged. Yes.
If I can. Why can't I get into that bit? Just cut that bit. Going. Better. And then that side, let me snip away on there. Like that. There we are. Are you still playing as well, Gary? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I like
that.
That's
nice.
Yeah, I like that. Like that. And then I also found this little swatch of fabric, which and there's a little bit of yellow as well. I did think the yellow may be a little bit too summery, but let's give it a go. It is just about playing, isn't it? Like you say.
Yeah, just like placing and playing and then taking away when you think, oh, I've overdone it. I've done too much now. So that's what you need to think. It's like, well, is that okay? Is that going to work? Or do I need to add less, more?
Quite liking something there about that behind, just to see that touch of gold. But you could do this for hours, couldn't you, really?
Yeah.
You could absolutely do it for hours. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe like this. I mean, I also had some stones, but I suppose you could put on, because I'm picking up the picture.
Yeah.
Of the
Oh, I like, no, the stones look nice in that sort of bottom right hand corner. That looks really quite nice. I think you should just, what I said about bringing things more sort of like central, you could almost like bring that, just move that over, to the right a little bit, over to the right. That's it. And then that's it. Look at that. You've got the little shadow in the middle, and that's like, no, put that back,
Well, I was just going to rip that.
No, leave that, but just turn it a little bit more skewiffy. That's it.
Yeah, because look, you've got the hat, and that's me.
Yes,
I like that. So let's just push like that. And then look at what I found.
Oh, right.
Not that I drink Veuve Clicquot on a regular basis because I don't have any money, but I don't know. I liked the orange of it.
Yes, I like the orange, but you've got that pop of color already in your photo of your image.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
Also, and you've got that red and the yellow. So maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't need that at all at the moment. So no. Oh, I like what you've done there. That's fab.
Any more string on there? Oh, I've got some brown paper. I also found, I've got a bit of this as well. Just some, I found this.
Raffia, like some ribbon.
But I don't know what I would do with that.
Well, you could wrap, if you had like a long twig, say you've got plenty of color there, but if you wanted just to represent like break down the color, so you've got your little bundle up at the top there, and then what you could do is actually isolate the colors that you've got. So you could have a little round a twig, you could wrap around a bit of red thread or a bit of red ribbon, then you could do a bit of yellow, then you could do a little bit of brown, and then you might bring in we've got a couple of shades of brown there, and you've got that lovely zigzaggy gold going through the white, so you could have a little bit of gold going through there, and then just almost like a wrap stick with several colors on, then that could just run horizontally along the bottom where your shoes are. You could just put that there, and then that sort of like communicates that you've isolated the colors from your little bundle there, and you've put them in as well.
Yeah, you see, look, I've just done that. Let me just add a little bit of, I'm quite liking it with this. It's got caught in my ring now.
What have you got caught in the ring?
I've got my ring caught around my big ring. Right, okay, let's just set that up. Let me just put a little bit of string around this because I'll show you what I've done with this. Oh, maybe some of that paper as well. Oh, liking it. Take that off. And then maybe a little bit of this as well. I'll show you this in a second. Like this. See, look, now I've got a sort of a colour combination thing going on there. I do love this.
And you could that could lay just along the bottom in a horizontal line. And don't cover the shoes too much because the shoes are nice. Bring that down a little bit lower. No, lower down towards, that's it.
Yeah.
That's nice. Really completely different what I've done. And I think having that photograph background, that's a really nice idea. I like that.
Yeah. And then I did find some threads. Just hang on, I'm just winding them up because I've got loads of cotton hanging off, but you won't see you could see the cotton. I got these two threads here.
And then they could go in as well.
Wow.
I
love that, Gary.
And I bet you're using your phone at the moment to broadcast this, are you?
No, I've got another phone. See, I've just found, some, look, some stuff here that I just want to add in. And now you're going to make me take things away. But, you see, that's a nice orange as well. You see, look, let me just show you what I've just found as well. Okay, so I've got another thread, too big, straight away, too big.
Well, no, I'll tell you what to do. in the bottom left-hand corner, stack your roll, but have them going like straight up, but all along the bottom there. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, as a group, put the orange in there. Where's the orange one? Yeah, just move them slightly to the left so we still see your shoes underneath. That's it. Like that.
And then look, I've just found this.
Right, stop.
I can't stop.
And that's the time when you need to have that sort of like, and no, and then you have like the timer. So we have a timer on, like, only in 10 minutes can I put this ball together, because you'll find more and more things. But as I say, it can become another ball. So you don't just have to have one, you have several. Right. And then you're going to get that in.
Make it into, now how do I choose? Where's the square? I should know this because we had a social media. I'm getting loads of the competition. We had a social media thing on where you learn to do a square. Where's the square? Hang on.
Are you on photos? You should be able to just find at the top.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing that. Cinematic, slow-mo, photo. I don't know, but I'll just make it into a square. It's fine. So if I go, I can just make that into a square.
That's it. If you've got it like that, you'll be able to easily be able to make it into a square.
Look at that.
Brilliant.
And I can actually portrait, so I could do
little sections.
All the notifications coming through because of the competition that's on at the moment. You can't see because it's over the camera. Don't worry, I've got it in my camera. If I do that, and then I'm gonna do a studio light shot. That might actually be fabulous. Great, good, yes,
lovely.
What fun! I love it. I mean, there's actually something really nice about that image.
Look how that turned out. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
So, Rachel, think about what I just said about luxury borders. So I was working on a white background, but you're working on a colour background. So the white around it becomes your luxury border. So when you crop that, you keep a really nice band of white, quite a deep band of white square all the way around it. Yes, I mean, yes, you'll probably have to come in slightly because you've got some things around your workspace that maybe are, but you can crop that and still have quite a nice white space around it, because the white space around it is what's giving that really nice, it's visual, the visual communication is really, really exciting. And there's lots of things. The eye is moving around and it's looking at different things. You've got a little group of those color threads, but you've also got imagery there. You've got texture because you've got the pebbles and the gravel in the image. You've got combining things. So where you've wrapped things together, it gives you an idea of like, oh, I could combine different materials and different hard and soft surfaces together. So all those things are going in my mind as a designer, like, oh yes, and I could do this and you could do that. So it's a visual prompt to keep that creativity going, even if you have to leave the mood board at home, but it's in your phone. And so when you're going looking, you can then refer to it and do that. But it's just fun. Just put it out on Instagram and just put them up, or on your Facebook page or any social media you're using, and just say, oh, I've just had some fun creating this mood for autumn.
I absolutely love it, Gary. I really do. And you know something, let's just go back onto the gallery now. Yeah, you know, I mean, today has been a crazy day. And so it didn't take me very long to grab those pieces, you know, I mean, just literally gather some threads and, like you say, go into the garden. I just picked up some leaves, and then I went into my little studio space and I found the luggage label, and the Verve Clicquot was sat there. It was orange. And, you know, all you have to do is grab these things. And I did look at them in my carry bag and I thought, what am I going to make? But then to make that, and that is a great mood board, because now if I was going to do some quilting or something, and I would be able to look at that, like you say, I could go to a fabric shop and I could pick out, you know, that really bright orange with, you know, maybe some even like greys in there. I can kind of see there's a vibrant red. There's even a touch of pink on the lip, and this almost looks a little bit pinky as well in a way. So it's fascinating, isn't it, that it really makes you look at colour. You see, Gary, you're just a genius. You're just a genius. I love it. I love it. And let's have a look at yours again, so we can see
I have to say, I've got a bit of envy. I think yours, you did this week, Rachel. It's gold star, because you've just done so well. You found reels of thread. I didn't even get that far. You found loads of bits and pieces on your walks. You had imagery as well for the background. Like I did say, you could use like magazine tears or anything like that for your background, or imagery from magazines to put into your mood board. But no, that is really good. I think you found your forte now. That's cool. Really cool.
Are you proud of me, Gary?
I am. I just think that's great. Well done, Rachel.
I could see your little face there. You were like, oh, that's quite good, Rachel. Normally the stuff you do is rubbish. No, I'm joking. Oh, well, listen, you're only as good as the teacher who teaches you, I tell you. So you've taught me a lot there. I've loved it as well. Once again, what a lovely time I've had for the last 25 minutes. Just I lose myself. I forget that I'm on YouTube, and I hope people enjoy it when they watch me. They might skip forward, but I just lose myself in it. And that's what we're talking about. It's talking about losing yourself in creativity. And so
absolutely.
That's the thing. Oh, thank you. Listen, so much, Gary. That's absolutely brilliant. You are a crisp amongst crisp, as my husband says to me, and I've got no idea what that means. A crisp amongst crisps.
Am I a quaver? Maybe a quaver. Golden wonder?
I think what it means is if you're a crisp amongst crisps, you stand out in a bag of crisps. But it's not saying you're the best crisp in the crisp. It's just you're a crisp amongst crisps. It's like,
we'll have to ask him about that, because actually sometimes when you're eating a bag of crisps, there's always one that's absolutely that big, the perfect crisp. That there's all the crisps, and then there's the perfect crisp, and you take that out and you just nibble a little bit of it at a time, and that's me.
We all nibble a little bit of Gary. I am never going to eat crisps again now in the same way. I'll sit there and say to my husband, "Okay, what are you doing?" I'm going, "Just nibbling, Gary." Who's Gary? Anyway, gorgeous Gary. What are we going to do next week? Have you thought about our...
I have. What are we going to do? So I'm going to just... we highlighted my down on my desk, have we?
Yes.
Right. So there is an envelope here, and it says Rachel Pearman, Crafty Monkeys.
Oh, hello.
And I'm going to... hello. You know what that means? I'm sending you some stuff in the envelope. So what I'm going to do, and it follows on from today, follows on. You are going to, with all these lovely little scraps on my desk, with all the scraps that I've got, I am going to get you to do a strings block. So you're going to do a quilt block, and it's a great quilt block for using up lots of scraps, all the scraps. And it's about, you're going to use a foundation piece. You're going to do a foundation piece, and you're going to have a square of, this is just Bondweb, but you could use a paper kitchen towel cut into a square. This square is 6 inches by 6 inches. So I'm going to put that, that's going in the envelope. And then...
This is actually sewing. This is sewing on a machine. This is sewing a quilt block.
This is sewing a quilt block. This is sewing a quilt block. And I'm going to send you, these are what we call strings. So they are slithers of inspired by today, by autumn, all these autumn lovely colors. And I'm going to have one pack for me and one pack for you. If anyone wants to do this at home, the measurements are 6 by 6 for the foundation piece that we're going to stitch upon. You can get your sewing machine out, and then you need some strips. You need at least 10, maybe 12 strips. And these strips are 9 inches by, you can do some at 1 inch, some 1.5, and some at 2 inches wide going down. So you can vary that if you want to. Try and think of pairs, because we're going to actually do it across in pairs, and you're going to stitch it down with your sewing machine, and then you're going to cut this up, and you're going to make a very funky little block. And it's really easy, and it uses up loads of scraps, and it's going to be your first quilt block that I think you've ever attempted.
Yeah, I've never done a quilt block. I've never done a quilt block.
And it's really easy.
Woo! Okay.
And it's really fun. And if you can, what you've impressed me with today, with this learning, that you're on this learning journey with me, I have great faith in you next week.
Thank you, Gary. I will not let you down. I will not let you down. Lovely. Okay, well, that will be next week. And of course, dear YouTuber, if you're not watching us live today, you may look in the playlist and you may see it was recorded 2.5 years ago, because you might only find us then, but you will find it. It will be in that list of our tea time tutorials. And if you want to look at proper quilt blocks in terms of way more complicated ones done by sewers who've been doing it for 15 years at least, do have a look in the rest of our playlist, because we have got a playlist, I believe, entitled Blocks, and there are so many great blocks from people like Janet Clare, Sarah Payne, Jenny Raymond. I think Lucy Brennan does something in there. I've got loads of Charlotte Newland, loads of people. So do have a look in there. Right, lovely Gary. It is time for us to say goodbye. And we will see you all on the next session. I'm very much looking forward to it. Slightly nervous. Yeah, we will see you then. Okay, lovely people. Bye. We're off.